Welcome all gamers to the Grind Game Podcast, a deep dive into the gaming experience. You're listening to Dean and Anthony.
So we were going to do a kind of like the warrior workshop we did last time. And this time we were going to do some sort of mage character. And we had it all planned out. And we said, you know what? Let's do some pre-thinking before we record. That way we're not sitting here typing, looking for things for hours for a 50-minute long podcast or whatever. And we get on to do the podcast and we realize that it is a lot harder than we thought to build a mage character like we did in the Warrior Workshop.
It seems very, you have to be super specific.
Yeah. And
I can't think of enough components from enough different games to really patch together something efficient. And I know there is a way, but
yeah,
for some reason it's eluding me right now.
And I was telling Dean right before we started recording that if I come up with anything mage-like, it's going to be from one of two games, from either World of Warcraft or some Elder Scrolls game. So that's pretty much all the material I can think of right now. So I didn't want to build like a World of Warcraft character, but we did come up with another topic. So that's what we're going to talk about. But real quick, I did want to say that we did have a comment on our Warrior Workshop podcast. I was like wanting to know what kind of feedback that was going to bring. Like, ooh, that was fun. Yeah. Or, don't do that again. I think we said that at the end of it, but, and we had one comment and it was from Bop, and he says, really all he says is, that we didn't put the motorcycle weapon from Devil May Cry in.
Yeah, that would have been the most efficient, I guess.
Yeah. And after he had commented that, I asked him what that was exactly, because I haven't played the new Devil May Cry, and I don't remember that from the first Devil May Cry. And he sent me a little clip of it, and if you haven't seen the clip, it's basically Dante's riding a motorcycle and jumps off, and then the motorcycle is the weapon, and then he kills things with it, and it's just kind of ridiculous because it's just like two big wheels or whatever, and he uses them like swords. I don't know, it's weird. You gotta go look it up.
Yeah, he takes the motorcycle apart and then swings it as two weapons, each wheel or something like that. It's absurd. I think because I played Devil May Cry, the latest one, on my stream back in the day, and the motorcycles were actually really good weapons too.
Oh, really?
So yeah, no wonder Bop loves them so much.
Yeah, it was absurd, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, we probably should have went with that. Well, I mean, I haven't played it, but you could have used it because we played it. So anyway, moving on from that, the topic that we kind of landed on was how whenever you play a mage character, you're generally confined, and I say generally, confined to wearing only cloth or very light armor or like a robe or something like that. And what was that you were telling me earlier about Morrowind or something?
So if I remember correctly, and I'm sure there's going to be someone who will be able to answer this, is in, I believe, Morrowind and or Oblivion, if you wear too much heavy armor or high class armor, that it decreases your spell efficacy by a certain percentage. Not a lot. I don't think it's a lot, but it's just like a few points. So it's not as effective as a mage if you're wearing heavy armor.
Right. So what's the logic behind it though?
I don't know. I would think it's like maybe movement, or it's just puts a stress on the body that it makes it difficult to cast efficiently.
So I know that the only correlation that I can make is I think in D&D, or at least 5th edition anyway, because that's the only one that I've played. So there was something in the rule book about certain spells. They need like reagents or
Yeah, yeah.
you have to be able to speak to cast some of them or something like that, or move your hands or something. And if your character is bound and they can't move their hands, like they won't be able to cast this certain spell. They have to have at least one hand free. So it kind of makes me think that that ties into it. If you're wearing clunky heavy armor, you're not going to be able to do the fluid air bending, water bending motions that you need to be able to perform the spell, or to cast the spell. So that's all I can think of.
In D&D you do have clerics though that usually wear medium to heavy armor. But yeah, what you were talking about is there's basically there's requirements for casting spells, which I can't think of the definitive term, but they usually have a material cost or require a focus of some sort, like a mage staff or a cleric's maybe medallion of their god, and then they can cast through that. But you either have to be able to speak on certain spells, or you have to be able to do some sort of gesture for the spell. And there's another one that I can't remember, but those are like the requirements.
Is it maybe like, is it the reagents?
The third one might be reagents, actually. A material cost that consumes the material.
Right, so you have the speaking. Okay, right, so those are the three. So I feel like we got to the root there, because that would be probably one of the older, or the oldest, role playing of a like a casting character, or whatever the rules are in the first edition of D&D. Anyway, the only thing I know is, like I said, 5th edition.
Yeah, same. I wish they would break away from the stereotypes, I guess, for mages, because I'd love to see a mage that could like not a cleric, but an actual mage that could like bench 250 on the regular.
Yeah.
And like has the physical and the mental aptitude.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, so what I had said before was, before we started recording, was I always feel like if you're a mage and you can use magic, you would use the magic to make yourself a little bit more buff, or use the magic to make your armor lighter and like more flexible. Like, I feel like that would be kind of like a basic thing. Like, even mage babies can do that. That's like the first thing they learn how to do,
Mage babies.
Yeah, like it's learning to walk. Make your armor super light, so that way it's not heavy and you can wear whatever you want.
Yeah. Or I wonder if you could reverse that. Have it, you wear the cloth, but you have the mage armor that there's a spell over the cloth that protects you more as well. So you dress up formally to go to the formal ball and still be protected.
So I know in ESO, in Elder Scrolls Online, one of the big selling points for that was it's an MMO, but there are still roles, but you're not confined to using only certain weapons and armor. And I remember that was like a big selling point whenever that came out, I remember. And you could do all these kind of crazy combos. You could be a tank that wears medium armor and has a bow and arrow or whatever. While the armor, there's the light, medium, and heavy armor. You can wear whatever you want, but if I remember right, I played ESO not too long ago, so I'm feeling pretty confident, feeling fresh. They still have it to where they're kind of influencing you a little bit. So I don't remember the exact stats, but if you're wearing heavy armor and you're taking hits and your heavy armor skill is increasing, there's like a little, not a skill tree. Well, I guess it is kind of like a skill tree for the heavy armor. You can put points into like having more health, because you would typically wear the heavy armor and have more health and more armor. And then if you're wearing light armor, you get more magic regen or whatever. So you can wear the heavy armor if you want and be a spellcaster, but it's like, oh man, I should probably just wear the light armor because I get those extra perks. So they're still kind of influencing you in that way. And I don't know if those are the right stats or not, but I remember it being something like that, because I remember thinking, well, I mean, I'm still going to wear light armor because I get the perks of a spellcaster.
Yeah. But just in case you want to be that beefcake mage,
Yeah.
you could do that.
Yeah. So let's talk about a battle mage because you had mentioned that earlier too.
I love battle mages a lot.
So tell me about it.
I like the close up aspect with the utility that magic provides. So one of my favorites is the from Dragon Age Inquisition. You get to be. Let me look this up.
No one expects the Dragon Age Inquisition.
There we go. Knight Enchanter.
Okay.
So you could be the Knight Enchanter, which is it's a specialization within the mage class. So you can do all your cool mage stuff with like elements and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
But then you have the Knight Enchanter, which is the specialization, which gives you the ability to use a spirit blade.
Oh.
Which is like you become Psylocke for a second, and this beam sword comes out of your hand, and you basically backhand the enemy, and it builds up a bunch of points. And then when you use this, just through casting, it builds up points. And then when you backhand someone with it, it does like exponential damage or multiplied damage based upon however many points that you've built up.
Okay. So when you said that, it reminded me of, again, even though this is not a video game, going back to D&D, they have that, like, I think warriors, you can, once you get to, I don't know, like 5th level or something like that, you can be like an Eldritch
The Eldritch
Knight. Yeah. So then that's like casting spells but still wearing mail or whatever they wear. I don't know.
Yeah. Fighters are proficient in everything. They can do whatever they want.
Right.
So if I were to play a fighter, I would definitely go with the Eldritch.
So that would that be a battle mage?
I would think so.
Okay. So I don't really have any experience with what we're considering right now to be a battle mage, other than playing Sacred and there being a class called the battle mage, but he wasn't really a battle mage. He was just a mage. But for all the OG fans out there that played Sacred, you don't know what I'm talking about.
Sacred.
I'm a battle mage.
That is an old one.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I played instead of Diablo because I was too poor for Diablo, so I played Sacred.
It wasn't Sacred kind of like almost a parody, sort of, or at least satirical or more comical than like your hardcore Diablo.
Actually, now that you say that, I kind of remember there being something weird about it whenever I played it. Like some of the gravestones or the for like the graves, like the headstones for the graves. They just said like weird stuff, and it was kind of odd and interesting. And some of the it has been a very long time since I've played Sacred, but I think some of the characters even say silly things when you talk to them. But it was just a Diablo clone.
Well, nothing wrong with that. Diablo's a very fun game.
Yeah, I love Sacred. I thought it was really good.
I think another example that comes to mind when I think Battle Mage are the red mages from your Final Fantasy games. They have the red cloaks, and they look very dashing. They usually wield a rapier, and they're really good at magic, and they're pretty good in a physical fight as well.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. keep explaining it to me. What kind of spells do they cast? What kind of mages are they?
I'm actually looking that up right now, because you take the first Final Fantasy. Oh yeah, they're cool looking.
I'm a battle mage.
Red wizards can cast 3rd tier level of elemental spells, such as Firaga, which is pretty good. They can also cast Kiraga, allowing them to function as a healer, albeit lacking the party-wide heals of White Mage and White Wizard. That's the first Final Fantasy.
Oh, okay. Oh, I knew it. I just looked this up. There was a game called Lichdom Battle Mage.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That game was
good?
No.
No, it wasn't good.
No, I mean, it was like, I didn't play like the whole thing, but a buddy of mine had it, and I went over to his house and was playing it, and I was like, this game is not what I thought it was going to be.
And it still wasn't good, huh? Not even a little bit.
I don't think I played enough of it to give it a fair review right now, but it was definitely, I thought what I thought it was going to be was basically, like Elder Scrolls, but you're just a mage and you're just really good at being a mage or something. Because it was a first person casting game.
Now that one, does it have any mana resource, or can you just fling spells everywhere?
I don't remember. Hang on, let me look something up about it real quick. Yeah, it looks like it has some resource that he's using. From the looks of this video, I think I probably had only done like the tutorial and then didn't play any more of it, so I don't know how good it gets later on. I remember it being like the controls I think were like overly sensitive, and
Oh geez, okay.
and there wasn't a way to change it if I remember right. I'm trying really hard to remember now. This was like when it first came out, and it was hard to aim at things because it was on PS4 and you would just barely move the joystick and he would just look all over the place. And you're trying to cast these spells, like, shoot these ice bolts at things, and you're just missing, or I was anyway. Maybe it was just me. I don't know. The game was great. I was just terrible at it. I mean, I might try to find it actually and give it another shot, because I'm looking at the gameplay, and it looks like, if you didn't know any better, you would think somebody was playing Skyrim and playing a mage, or a spellcaster in Skyrim.
Yeah.
Other than the HUD is different, but I didn't play enough for me to consider that being something that I could use in like a build a mage workshop.
Yeah. It looks pretty cool. I'm looking at some gameplay footage as well. Not too shabby.
So yeah, basically the whole idea was we need to wreck this stereotype of mages only being able to wear light armor. And you know what? The other way around too. Everybody should be able to wear whatever kind of armor they want. Because if there's a big, strong, burly guy who's playing some kind of, or being some kind of warrior, he can wear some cloth. He'll just be able to move even better and swing his axe even harder.
I've always wondered that in reality, when you see like the full suits of knight armor.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Did they actually fight in that stuff? Because
yeah, I think
there's
so. Yeah.
no vision. I don't know how well you can move.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, they definitely fought in the. I'm not exactly sure what you're thinking of. They definitely fought in that. I mean, that's what it was for, to protect them. But if you like, I know I've seen like some movies or something where somebody's wearing it and they're trying to move, and it's extremely difficult. You're talking about like the classic like shiny armor, like the
like head to toe. You can't even see the dude's face or eyes or anything.
I'm not like a history buff or anything, but I know a lot of that, or not a lot of that. I know that some of that was for like jousting, also, where you're not really like moving.
That's true. You just kind of gear up for the worst impact of your life.
Yeah, and exactly. All you have to be able to do is hold your lance up. That's it, I guess. Well, and hold on to your horse.
Quite literally, yes.
Yeah, that's it. Now I don't know about like on like a massive scale with like people running out into a field to hit each other, because that would be more like very slowly waddling towards each other. They probably had different armor for that, right?
Yeah, I think it was more movable. Because, I mean, there's like, you can't even move the joints on some of those things.
Yeah.
And you would be at a total disadvantage, I would think, on the battlefield if you could just, run around everyone who was wearing that kind of armor. I would speed them.
Yeah.
And if you want, just like push them over. It'd be like night tipping.
Night tipping. But by the time their front lines make it to your army's front lines, they're all rusted and stuff.
You just put water on them so they rust.
Oh man.
So if you were to create your own battle mage, and we don't need to get into specifics like we do with the Warrior Workshop, but would you fight using a warrior type weapon, or would you stick with like a staff or something magical, or would you go with like a sword or a dagger or something?
Actually, I would. I really, and I don't think there are any games like this. If there are, I want to know about it. But I would make one that is very melee focused, like using any kind of weapon. Because in like the Elder Scrolls games, like or like in Skyrim, like you can what is it? You use magic to like summon like the weapons, like a battle axe or something. It's just like a sort of ethereal version of it. Like I mean, spells and stuff are like really cool, but I would make like a guy that's basically some sort of like roguey assassin, kind of like really nimble and like doing acrobatics and stuff, and just with like a flurry of like these magic weapons, like, and it doesn't even have to be like a single one. Oh, kind of like what's his name, Noctis in Final Fantasy, like how he just summons these different, or he has these different weapons that he changes out like in the middle of battle, like right after the swing is done, his attack is over, like it disappears, and then he pulls out whatever, something like that.
That is so cool.
So yeah, something like that, but he's just like a mage, and so like even his armor is like just magic protection, and he's just jumping around, fighting, real good at like hand-to-hand combat, and then like every once in a while throwing these magical, like throwing knives at other enemies that are a little further away,
warping right to them.
Yeah, that's kind of what my ideal magic user would be. Not really a spellcaster, but like something like that.
Have you played Kingdoms of Amalur?
No, but I heard there's a remake coming out. Somebody had mentioned it.
Yeah, I guess someone mentioned. I can't remember what it was from, but someone did mention it.
Probably from a blog post or something.
Some really cool blog post written by someone who's really awesome.
Maybe.
But I highly suggest checking that one out, because the control you have over the warrior stereotypes and the mage and rogue / ranger stereotypes, like the synergies you can have between them is really cool, and the weapons are really cool, and then you could craft as well, so you can use things like a great hammer, but maybe spec it a little toward like fire or some sort of element.
Okay.
Supposedly in the update they're supposed to change some of the mechanics. I don't know what they would change, because the combat is pretty perfect. So I don't know how they're going to upgrade it for the new generation.
I guess I'll have to find out. So how would you make your ideal mage spellcaster?
Good question.
Come on, one up me, Dean. No, I'm just kidding.
I like staves.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think a sword would be, or something you can imbue, right? Have a mace or sword or an axe, and then have the magical aptitude to imbue it with fire or or ice, or maybe strike faster or something like that. That would be,
so like a buff mage.
Yeah, the mage who could bench 250.
Yeah, that kind of buff.
No, I know what you mean.
Enhancement mage, my bad.
Enhancement, yeah. But yeah, I like being able to do that, especially in a party. Like, so if you cooperatively with friends, you could be like, all right, now this enemy is weak to whatever element. Your weapon has that element now.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Speaking of staves, remember earlier how I said I could only think of one mage weapon, or one? It was a staff that I.
Well, what was it from?
I really wanted to throw it in there, even though it wasn't going to fit. It's the Wabbajack.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right.
The Wabbajack. Yeah, that was the only thing that I could think of. From Elder Scrolls, Sheogorath gives it to you.
Yes. Okay, so those who don't know what the Wabajack is, do you want to explain that for them?
Yeah. So here, let me look up what it
The
says.
official.
Yeah, because it does like random stuff.
There is viability to it, I suppose.
Okay. The Wabajack is the Daedric artifact of Sheogorath, a mysterious staff that casts random spells ranging in effect from complete disintegration to the transformation or empowerment of the target. Yeah, it just does like random stuff.
So you can essentially turn your enemy into like a bunny, but you could also turn them into something more powerful, right?
Yeah, or you could set them on fire. Let's see, what are some of the... Oh, here we go. Oh, here's a list of the things it does.
All right, hit me.
Fireball, Thunderbolt, Frost, heal others. So you could end up healing them too. Disintegrate, transform. So you can transform into like all kinds of things. Mud crab, Daedra, rabbit, chicken. Chicken that explodes after 20 seconds and transforms back.
What?
Okay. I don't remember that.
I don't remember that one either.
Okay. You can turn them invisible. You could summon an enemy Daedra to attack them. Ice Spike, instant kill, which I think falls under disintegration also. You could fear them, paralyze them, absorb health from them. The target explodes, turns into ghostly remains, and scatter gold and pitchforks. Okay. Or it could have no
Weird.
effect. So, and there are several other of these on here. Replace enemies with random amounts of cheese. So it's like all these like really weird things. And it's a really fun item, but it's all you could get an instant kill or you could heal them on accident. So and you never know. But that's the fun of it.
So for all you risk takers out there,
Get you a
that is the
Wabajack.
weapon for you.
Get you a Wabajack.
Oh man,
Anyway, so
that is such an absurd weapon. I tried to do things with it, and then like, no, I'm just gonna bludgeon people to death.
yeah, once I figured out that the effects were random and that the effects could be in the enemy's favor, I stopped using it. I was like, yeah, I'm just not even going to take that chance.
I wonder if it scales on like your luck stat, at least for Morrowind and Oblivion. I don't know if it was in Morrowind.
Hang on, let me look. So I was reading the description for what it does in Skyrim because
Oh, okay.
I don't remember encountering it in Oblivion. I'm sure it's in there, but I don't remember it being in Oblivion. And I did not play Morrowind.
Anything?
No, it doesn't say anything about what governs it or anything. But there's like some like funny little trivia on here.
What kind of trivia?
The Wabajack has a high chance of instantly killing or turning dwarven centurions into sweet rolls.
Okay.
Oh, if the staff's effect that transforms the target into a mud crab is cast on a mud crab, it will just grow larger. So if you get unlucky enough to cast the mud crab spell on a mud crab, you'll get double-sized mud crab.
That's terrifying.
Jackpot. Let's see. Oh, okay, here's what you were looking for. All attacks made using this staff are from the Destruction School. So fortifying Destruction 100% to 100% will make the charge cost 0 and allow infinite uses without need of recharging. So
Which one is this in?
this Wabajack
Yeah.
in Skyrim.
Oh, well, I did not know that.
So your Destruction School can change some of it. That's interesting. I didn't know that either. If I would have known that, I might have used it more in Skyrim because I was like, well, I'm not going to keep using this thing and recharging it if it's going to keep healing my enemies, but
Well, time to boot up Skyrim.
again, for like the 8th time.
Yeah. There's someone out there listening to this podcast that it's like, 8th time.
Yeah, I know. Right?
My 8th system that I bought it on. Played it 300 different characters.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only system that I don't own Skyrim on is PC.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? And Switch, because
Oh yeah, it's on that, huh?
yeah, it's on Switch too. Yeah, I don't have it on Switch either. Okay, let's see. Appearances. Okay, it says it appears in Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, 5 Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Online, and Elder Scrolls Legends. So it was not in Morrowind.
That's fair. Might be a little bit difficult to do on that engine. Or that version of the engine.
Yeah, but we can do it in, I was going to say, but we can do it in 2, in Daggerfall somehow.
Yeah, I guess that's all sprite-based, though. I don't know what I'm talking about, also. So I have no idea.
I haven't. I've only played 4 on up, so I can't even pretend. I was hoping there was going to be a picture of it here, but there's not. I only know what the one from Skyrim looks like. So that was. Did you finish explaining what you wanted your guy to be, other than like a sword wielding enhancement mage? Does he have any other spells?
Yeah, I think that's what it'd be. Unless I could do some sort of monk type, or if I could, which actually I did in Oblivion, is I made it so he had elemental attacks that were on touch. So it was like he was using fire magic, but like palm striking people,
right?
With fire and ice and lightning.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. So I feel like this podcast isn't going to end with like a funny, weird thing. So
we've just been kind of like talking about whatever.
Yeah, we have been. It's been pretty chill.
You need to have a chill week every once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was also kind of thrown off because I really thought we were going to be building a mage. I mean, we kind of did. We threw some things together, some different ideas, but not quite the same.
Nonchalant, extremely vague way.
Yeah. So I guess just let us know in the comments. Get real creative with it. You know that one time, I think it was in one of these other podcasts, we mentioned something about if you could summon your sword inside of your enemy and that would kill them. I remember saying that because I remember thinking, wow, that was pretty messed up. But
yeah,
give us some cool magic stuff. Because I think magic is only bound by the limitations of your imagination.
Yeah.
So, yeah, tell us what you would do with your mage guy. And I don't even care how messed up it is.
Thank you for listening to the Grind Game Podcast. For more video game related content, visit legacyarchivist.com. If you have an interesting video game related story, leave it in the comments for a chance for it to be featured on the show.